Hello, and welcome to Power Interview. I'm Dr. Chris Choi. Our guest this evening is a man who has dedicated his life to improving the lives of others by holding numerous public service posts. He's a six-term member of the State Assembly of New Jersey, where he's also serving as the conference majority leader. Please join me in welcoming Assemblyman Gordon M. Johnson. Hello, Assemblyman Johnson.
Hello and 안녕하십니까.
Welcome to, thank you, 안녕하십니까. Welcome to our show. Thank you for being on our show.
Thank you for having me here. It's an honor and a pleasure to be here today.
Oh, the pleasure is all ours. Yeah. I understand that this is your first time being on this program, Power Interview.
This is true, my first time here. Yes.
Oh, would you like to say a few words directly to our viewers to introduce yourself?
As a member of the New Jersey State Assembly since 2001, and when I first got into this position, and I realized that I had a relatively large Korean American constituency, population in Palisade Park and Leonia and Fort Lee. So realizing that this was the up-and-coming minority group in my district, and I wanted to ensure that as that minority group evolves through the years, that they have all the support I could give them to make sure they were a success when it comes to getting the American dream, attaining the American dream.
That's great. Your district is the 37th district.
Yeah, the 37th legislative district. Yes.
Okay, and it covers cities and boroughs such as Palisades Park, Fort Lee.
I have 13 towns in the 37th district. The district that's heavily populated with Koreans, which a lot of them are, of course, is Palisade Park and Leonia, Inglewood Cliffs, Fort Lee, and even up in Cresskill, they have a relatively large Korean American population. So I want to ensure that I represent everyone. That I don't want to leave anyone out.
Right, that is great. So I'm just curious. I'm sure our viewers would like to know how your close relationship to the Korean American community started.
Well, when I first got into the assembly, I tried to find some people I could speak to who would be willing to associate with me and introduce me to the Korean American people in the district. Of course, language is an issue because then and now I don't speak Korean. Well, my Korean's terrible now, but language is a very important, could be an obstacle to finding out what the issues are, what their views are, what their dreams are. So I found some people who I was able to, who were willing to work with me to find out and talk to the different people in the Korean American community, whether it be social issues or issues of business where people wanted the ability to expand their businesses or start businesses, and what was available to them in the way of incentives from the state. So those are the two main points.
I know that you are widely known as the greatest ally to the Korean American community in the New Jersey State Legislature. And you have also worked a lot for Korean American related causes.
Yes. I'm also a veteran. I was in Desert Storm, so I have a relationship with the Korean American war veterans because a veteran is a veteran, of course, and the men who fought in Vietnam as Koreans, they fought with the Korean Army, but alongside the U.S. soldiers in Vietnam who are now trying to obtain medical insurance, medical coverage, are having difficult times doing that because the Veterans Administration here will not service them, and the Korean government is saying for them to get the medical coverage, you have to go back to Korea. So we're trying to work something out there. That's just one of the issues that we're working on now.
So you were recently you got recognition for the former Korean veterans in the Vietnam War.
Yes.
And I understand that you just heard from some students of the school
about
that.
Yes. We passed a resolution acknowledging Korean American Day, and that's the day when the Koreans left Eastern Asia and sailed to Hawaii and arrived in Hawaii, and this day is based on that event. But when we passed the resolution in Trenton, it gave the exposure statewide, and I received letters from students in Warren, New Jersey, middle school in Warren, who were studying civics and government, and they said in their letters to me that they appreciated what they learned about their Korean American friends and the Korean American culture, which they didn't know at all until this resolution was put out. So I'm so glad that, number one, we recognize the Korean Americans for their very special holiday, but number two, and more importantly, is that these young Americans who in a city in a county that's far from here acknowledge, saying that they learned something and appreciated this, what they were able to pick up. So it's great.
So the work that you have been doing mainly for the Korean American community is actually benefiting other groups in the States.
Absolutely. You know, in this fabric of America, where we have all these different ethnicities and nationalities and languages and culture, we all come together to make the United States what it is. And we have to work together to ensure that we stay the prosperous nation that we are.
Thank you for sharing that comment with us.
Okay.
Another issue that's very close to a lot of Korean Americans' heart is that of the so-called comfort women issue.
Yes.
And
yes.
Recently there was last year was it?
Yes.
That there was a monument that was established?
Yes, there's a monument erected in Palisade Park recognizing these women who were victims of war, civilian victims of war during the occupation of the Japanese. There's a monument being erected, or that is erected, in the county of Bergen. Fort Lee is working on a monument in the borough of Fort Lee. So this one event, this kind of snowball now, and what the educational aspect of this, where people are now learning what happened to these women, these victims of war, or actually the occupation of the Japanese, is very important to put out. And if once the knowledge is out there, it should not be repeated. So the Japanese government is somewhat unhappy about it, but the facts are the facts, and these events occurred. And one also realizes that only the victors write the history books. So this is now being inserted into the history books as we go forward.
And these so-called comfort women, though most of them were Korean, there were some other ethnic groups as well.
Yes,
right?
there were Chinese and there were Indonesians. Yes, there were many countries, Asian countries, were victimized by the Japanese military.
So this is an issue that should be of interest to not just Korean Americans, but to
Correct.
other groups,
Yes.
as well as to Americans at large, right?
Correct. That's absolutely correct.
Right. And you have been very important in getting those things accomplished.
Well, you know, I was approached by a lot of nonprofit groups, Korean American nonprofit groups, regarding this. So it's not just me. Jason Kim also was involved in this, the councilman in Palisade Park. But the nonprofit organizations and church organizations that were behind this, they should get credit for this too.
Mm-hmm. And lest the viewers think that you only do works for Korean American communities, I know that that's just part of a lot of the work that you have been doing at the Assembly.
Yes.
And there must be some other causes that you have worked for that sort of apply to wider groups, such as, I can think of gun control issue,
Yes.
for example. You have been in positions where you have been in close proximity to firearms because of your career.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. So regarding gun control, which is the latest big issue next to the budget, but the latest big social issue is gun control, and because of the events that have taken place recently in the United States and in other countries, we need to find a way to curtail gun violence in this country. And we felt that there was no need, when I say we members of the State Assembly and also State Senate, felt that there was no need for individuals to own military-style weapons in this country. There's no need for a person to own, to have a weapon that has a caliber, a bullet, that's bigger than a .50 caliber bullet. There is no need for a person to have a magazine which contains the bullets to have over 10 rounds. So we are trying to restrict the amount of firepower that's out there in the street. Now, admittedly so, that the people who are victims of gun violence in New Jersey are mostly victims by handguns. handguns in the hands of those who got these guns illegally. So on the other side of that, we have to ensure that if a person who is arrested carrying an illegal weapon is prosecuted, and if found guilty, then he or she must pay the price for that, which would be incarceration to keep them out of, keep them away from society. And that's what incarceration is about, keeping away from, and also rehabilitation. So we have to ensure, we have to strengthen those gun laws too. So we're restricting the type of weapons, but also ensure that those with weapons have them legally.
And you have not only been a veteran, you're a veteran of Gulf War, like you said,
Yes.
but also you have served as the sheriff.
Yes, as a police officer and a sheriff.
Right,
yes.
so you really have, you know about guns.
Yes, yes, yes.
And that has given you a very personal and knowledgeable position on this issue,
Yes.
right? And another issue that you are passionate about is stopping violence against women.
Yes, 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 yes. Domestic violence against women is an issue that's, it's one of those situations that if you don't, it doesn't go away by itself. If the abuser is an abuser, it has to be actively stopped. It doesn't just stop doing it. So, and some women and some men too live in silence with this. They don't bring it out. So, we feel that we want to do all that we can to ensure that if a person feels that they're living in this violent type of environment at home, that they can get away from that, and there is help for them, for both of them. Because maybe the abuser also just needs some psychological or psychiatric help, or some type of counseling. So we are there for both people, the victim and also the abuser. And if we could work it out for both sides, then we will. But if it doesn't work out, then we have to protect the victim.
Right. And as much as it is important to deal with the aftermath of violence against women, it would also be important, I would think, to work to prevent that in
Exactly
education
right, exactly.
and
There you
changing
go.
perceptions.
That's right, because it has to be a comprehensive response to this. It has to be education, the Department of Health has to be involved, and also law enforcement and the courts. So it has to be a total comprehensive response.
So the issues that you are working on, these that we just talked about, the gun control issue and the
Yes.
violence against women,
Yes.
are something things that are very important and could really affect the lives of everybody.
Yes, yes, yes.
So that is just great. Okay. So as we mentioned at the top of the show, you are a 6-term member of the Assembly.
Yes,
So that's a long time, right?
I know. I feel like an old man. Yes, yeah.
But still, you are just as enthusiastic as ever. Right?
Yes.
And-
Well, when you're a state legislator, you have all the social problems that come up, and you have to respond to them. And all the, I mean, for everything. I mean, I enjoy helping small businesses find incentives and tax breaks, what have you, to help them along or to help them get started. The bigger companies, I'm meeting with Samsung later this week about some project that they're trying to launch in New Jersey, security camera project. I meet with small business people, like I said before. I want to ensure that people have access to education, higher education, and have access to quality primary education, and that's statewide. Not a big issue in Bergen County, because a lot of schools in Bergen County are doing all right, but some schools in our urban areas are not doing that well. Need to find out why they're not, and ensure that these young people have access to quality primary education, so then they could therefore move on to college or post-grad work or what have you, what they want to do. Or they might just want to drive a truck. If they want to do that, then, or be a welder or work in a body shop. But if they want to do that, they have to have the training there available to them so they can do it.
Having the choice is what democracy is all about, right?
That's what America's all about,
right,
correct.
Right, that's great. And now you're seeking a 7th term
Yes,
in this fall's upcoming
yes,
elections.
this year.
And recently you have announced that you will be again running a joint campaign
Yes,
with Senator Weinberg
Mhm.
and Assemblywoman Huttle.
correct.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, we are running together this year, as we have in the past. And if you ask us, we're the best team out there in the legislature. We work very well together. We have good times together when we are together, and we bring issues to a resolution. Senator Weinberg is a very wise woman. Has been around for a while. She knows politics and knows policy. So it's just good to have her there as a mentor. So I'm so glad to have her. And Valerie and I, we work together in the lower house in the assembly. And, of course, we handle the issues come before us in that house.
And all three of you are from the 37th Legislative District.
Correct. Yeah. In New Jersey, you have one senator and 2 assembly people per district. And we're in the 37th district, as you said. So we were running as a team in the 37th.
So how many districts are there in New Jersey?
40.
I see. So let's do some quick math.
Yes.
So that's 80 assembly members and 40 senators.
That's correct.
Right. Great. So that's really not a big number because, you know, some of the viewers may think it's like the federal government. And,
Correct.
You know,
correct,
where there are
yeah.
more senators and more representatives.
Right. No, New Jersey, and this is all done by the state constitution. 40 districts, 2 assembly people, 1 senator per district, and it's all based on population.
Right.
And very basically, they take the population of the state, whatever it is, during the census, and divide it by 40,
Right.
and then like a range of towns to fit into that match.
Again, that's why taking the census is so important.
Absolutely, and being involved in the
Right,
census,
right,
you should be counted. Yes.
So when you are reelected later this year, is there any work that you would like to focus on continuing? And
Yes.
is there anything that you would like to maybe tackle anew?
Well, concerning the Korean American community, which I find so fascinating and find an interest in, and you're an optimist, so you said when I'm reelected, because I certainly hope to be. I would like to strengthen the ties between towns in the 37th district and some regions in South Korea through sister city relationships that are really meaningful. Maybe through a student exchange program, working with the universities, or maybe with the high schools in the district, and just it's a way for young people to learn about other cultures firsthand, and it should be. I think we can do that in some way, in a limited way, where young people will have a chance to travel to South Korea. In a academic environment, maybe to a college campus there or a high school there for a week or 2 weeks, and vice versa. So I'm gonna work on that more in the upcoming term. We did it in the past a little bit. It went okay, but I think we could do more with that. It costs money to do that, of course, but we're going to try to do that more. Of course, the budget's important. The upcoming budget, state budget, that'll be a big fight until the June 30th, when the budget has to be in place. And those 2 things are the big things for now. Of course, the gun control issue will continue on, and I guess those are the big 3 right now I can think of.
The educational system in Korea has recently sort of gotten a lot of spotlight because of, especially with President Obama talking about it constantly.
Yes, that's right. That's right. In his State of the Union speech, he talked about South Korea's educational system. Yes, he did.
And you are one of the few state level or federal level legislators who are very familiar with the system there, right?
Yeah. Yes.
And there is going to be a fundraising party on March 8th.
Yes.
Yes, and would you like to maybe share some details?
Absolutely. Yes. As part of being a state legislator, one has to raise funds and money for a campaign. And I'm hoping that in my event on March 8th, which is at the Pine Plaza from 7 to 10, I'm hoping that I can get the support of as many Korean Americans as I can fit in that room. Just to show their support, but to also have a good time. So fundraising is important. Fundraising is a part of the job that we do in the legislature, but also it's a way to show your support of the people who you like. So please come out and support me, and of course Valerie and Loretta will be there, and other legislators will be there. But if you have the time, please come out and be a part of the event.
So again, it's from 7 to 10 at the Pine Plaza.
Pine Plaza, Palisade Park.
Palisades Park on March 8th.
Correct.
Right. So I hope that a lot of our viewers will be able to make that and actually have a chance to meet you in person and to express to you, their approval and their support.
Yes, right.
But in case some of the viewers who would love to go there cannot make it, is there any other way that the viewers and the supporters can send it?
You can always send a check. The price we're asking is $150 per person for this particular event. If you're so inclined, you could send a check to Johnson for Assembly, P.O. Box 971, in Englewood Cliffs, New Jersey, 07632. So Johnson for Assembly, P.O. Box 971, Englewood Cliffs, New Jersey, 07632. And we're glad to have your support again.
Right. And in general, is there any way that you could recommend to us if a lot of if Korean Americans want to get more involved in their community work
Yes.
or in politics?
Well, you know, I'm meeting a group of young Korean Democrats today, later this evening, and I'll be telling them how they can get involved, what they can do. I would say first, you know, find your local officials, tell them, and I'm a Democrat, so I'll be speaking about Democrats here. Tell your Democratic leaders in your town that you want to be involved. Tell your local council people that you'd like to help them on their campaign, and you tell them that what is in it for us as a group? What is in it for us as a community? Will they be hiring more Korean American police officers? Will they be hiring more Korean Americans to work in Borough Hall? Will they be hiring more people to? Will they be providing or letting contracts to Korean American businesses that are local? And these are the things that have to be discussed at the local level, and that's what I'll be talking about tonight with these young Korean American Democrats.
And before they get involved, or in addition to getting involved personally in these things, they can always just support the elected officials, such as you,
yes.
right?
You can always call my office, and I'll be glad to talk to you about what you can do, what we could do for you, what you could do for us. So it's a two-way street. So either way, just call the office, and we'll be glad to talk to you.
And you do have people who speak Korean a little better than you at your office, right?
Actually, they speak much better than me. But yes.
So in case some people have hesitation.
I have Jimmy Kim. Yes, Jimmy Kim, who is there, a nice young man, who is in addition to the office. So he is a liaison to the Korean American community when it comes to a person who only speaks Korean.
That's great. So viewers do not have to be afraid.
Absolutely not.
Right.
Because I can say Anya Shimnika, and we can go from there.
That's good. So you are very passionate about the work that you do. So I know that you love doing it. You have a busy schedule, but I'm sure when you do the work that you love, you are okay with that. But I'm just wondering how maybe does your family put up with that?
Well, my daughter is 28 years old. She resides in Bethesda, Maryland. So, and my son's 26. He's looking to take the LSATs, no, he took the LSATs. GMAT, I think he wants to take now. My wife, who is a school nurse, she sees me every now and then. No, we get together though. We do get together. But she understands that my life as a public servant keeps me busy. And it keeps you busy in the evening normally because people want to meet in the evening, you know.
Right.
But we take time out for ourselves.
Oh, that's very important, right?
Yeah.
Right? And a great example to set as well.
Right.
So as you have just shared with us, you are doing events in the evenings as well, and a lot of Korean American events as well. And could you just maybe tell us one thing that you have seen in your relationship with the Korean American community, maybe what has changed or what stands out the most to you?
Yes. Let me say this about what I've observed about the Korean American community. I view them, my perception is that as a group they are tenacious, very smart, and very dedicated. But this goes back to the Korean American War. When you go back to 1950, 55, when Korea was a third world country, which it was, and in 50 years, maybe even 40 years, has become an economic global power, a global economic power. I mean, that in itself shows you what the tenacity and the intelligence of a group and how they can work together to become successful. And if we non-Asians could just look at that and copy that, then the whole country would be better off, or the whole region, or the whole town, or the whole county. So that's one of the things that stands out to me. in the Korean American community.
And that's what's good about the melting pot, that we can all take the good points from each group.
Exactly.
And for the advancement of America as a whole.
Yes.
Right. And are there any facets of the Korean culture other than your linguistic efforts that you enjoy, such as cuisine or anything like that?
Okay. The cuisine.
Food.
I have a. I love the Korean food. You know, we've had the sliced steak is called
Kalbi?
Kalbi.
The
Yes.
rib, right?
Of course, I've had a bad experience too with bundagi, but we won't go into that today. I just love the Korean. The Korean food is good, but also it's the environment that you're in. You know, this whole thing about karaoke, which is, of course, a lot of bars in America have that now. But the way it's done in the Korean tradition, I think, is much more fun than going into some bar somewhere in a crowded room, a crowded space, where people are drinking and yelling and screaming, and you're on a microphone. Where you're in a private space with your friends, having a good time and singing. That's much more fun, I think, than the other way. So, between kalbi and karaoke and a little soju, I really enjoyed the Korean culture. Yes.
So that brings us to the end of this show. Do you have any parting words for the viewers of KBN?
Yes. I'm saying this late, but Happy New Year to everyone. And if you're free on March 8th, please stop by my event. And always, if you have an issue or a problem or an idea, please call my office. I'll be glad to take your call.
Assemblyman Johnson, what you do is very important, and we all commend you for your dedication and for giving your life to improving the lives of others.
Chumanio.
Right. And
안녕하세요.
and thank you for being on our show once again.
Okay.
Great.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Okay.
The pleasure's been all mine.
Okay.
So that's all the time we have for this evening. Thank you for joining us. Until next time, take care.